guys, don't you just love today's card? What you're going to need is, you're going to need a bunch of ink colors. So you're going to need Tangerine, Tango, Pumpkin Pie, Peekaboo Peach, Lemon Lime Twist, Tranquil Tide, Crumb Cake, and Chocolate Chip. You're going to need a piece of Very Vanilla A2 size card, which is 5.5 by 4.25, and we're just going to go ahead and fold that using our bone folder to give it that nice crease. Also going to need a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock. This here is cut at 5.25 by 4, and you also will need the Painted Autumn Designer Series paper. This piece here is cut 3 by 5.25. So you also will need some pieces of Whisper White scrap pieces. These here we're going to do our stamping on, and we're going to use the stitch shape framelits to cut out our images. So I'm using the circle stitch shapes framelit. This one is the second smallest, and then I'm using the square stitch shape framelits, and these guys here are the largest and the second to largest. So we're going to get started with our stamping first, and I am using the Gourd Goodness Stamp Set. Take the more solid piece and we're going to stamp that out first. We're going to use the color Pumpkin Pie to stamp that out. So the next layer we're going to do is we're going to use Tangerine Tango. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the little stem and you're going to stamp that out in your lighter color, which is Crumb Cake. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to stamp out the top of the stems with the more defined one with the lines in it, and you're going to use Chocolate Chip to stamp those out. This one here we're going to stamp out the gourd, and we're going to stamp that out in Lemon Lime Twist. You're going to take the next step to that stamp, and we're going to stamp that out in Tranquil Tide right on top of that Lemon Lime Twist. We're just going to stamp out the Thank Goodness for You, and we're going to use Peekaboo Peach to stamp that out. So now we're going to use the Big Shot and cut all these stamped images out. Once you have all your pieces cut, you're just going to take your pumpkin pie stamp pad, and you're just going to just kind of put some ink along the edges of all of your images. It just gives it a little extra pop. So now we're just going to take and start to assemble our card. To need 2 pieces of crushed curry. This here is the mini Chevron ribbon. It is 3/8 wide, and these pieces measure probably about 5.5 to 6 inches long. You're going to take your Peekaboo Peach cardstock, and you're just going to take, we're going to put this ribbon up along the top and bottom. So you just want to flip it over and use some fast fuse, and just put a little spot of fast fuse on each of the ends here. So you're just going to take one piece of your ribbon and just anchor it down right next, close to the top as possible, and then you're just going to wrap it around the front and wrap it around the back. So you'll have one piece at the top, like I said, and then one on the bottom. And then we're just going to I'm going to use fast fuse because it has the ribbon on there, just to anchor this to the front of your card base. So once you have that glued down, you're going to take your piece of Painted Autumn Designer Series paper, and we're just going to adhere that in between the ribbon. And then you're going to take your pumpkin and your gourd, and we're just going to glue those on the front here. So they overlap the ribbon a little. And then your Thank Goodness for You, you're going to put some Stampin' Up dimensionals on that. And I just stuck this right up here between the gourd and the pumpkins. So to finish off this card, I'm just going to use the glitter enamel dots, and I'm going to use the shades of yellow here. So I'm going to use 2 of the smaller ones, and this is just the paper piercer. So I'm just using that to kind of help me get those off of here. I just did 2 of the smaller ones, and then I took one of the not the largest, but the next size down. And that's it to that card. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.